Hey everyone, I am here now to discuss to you about our new lesson. Let me read to you our objectives for this day. Number one, describe a proportion. Determine the properties of proportion, and last, apply the fundamental theorems of proportionality to solve problems involving proportions. I look at this picture. Alam ko familiar kayo sa picture na ito. So ngayon, marami pong nagkakasakit ng COVID-19. Sa dami ng mga pasyente na nagkakasakit, hindi na lahat ay naa-accommodate. So, ano kaya sa tingin nyo ang mangyayari sa mga hospital? So, meron tayong mga non-COVID patients na pinagkakasya ang 2 or more patients sa isang bed para lang ma-accommodate lahat ng mga nagkakasakit, lalo na kapag emergencies. Pero sa isang bed, usually, ang mga maliliit or yung mga bata yung pinagkakasya sa isang bed para lahat ma-accommodate. Sa hirap ng panahon ngayon 'pag nagkakasakit. So, anong kinalaman nito sa ating lesson? So, I have here a situation. If there are 40 patients and 20 beds in a hospital, what is the ratio of patients and beds in a hospital? Do you have any idea? 'Di ba sobrang dami, 40 patients and 20 beds. What if there are only 20 beds in a hospital? So what will be the ratio of patients and bed in hospital? So based from our given, it is 40 is to 20 or 2 is to 1. So what happened to 40 and 20? So it became 2 is to 1. So we get the lowest term of 40 and 20. So it comes to ratio and proportion. And today, this is our topic that we're going to discuss. Now, what is ratio? It is a comparison of two or more quantities. It can be written in variety of forms or ways. It can be A to B or in a sentence form where A is the first quantity and B is the second quantity, or it can be A is to B using this colon, or A over B or A divided by B, or in fraction form. Given two numbers A and B is not equal to 0, a ratio is divided by B. Remember, if B is our denominator, it cannot be equal to 0 because our ratio will be undefined. Ratios like fraction can be written in lowest term. Let's have an activity. Make me symbol. Direction. Express the following ratio of the first quantity to the second quantity in the simplest form. Number 1. 4 face masks into 2 girls. So what is the lowest term of this ratio? Right, 2 is to 1. So we divide 4 and 2 into 2 because 4 and 2 are both divisible by 2. Next, 16 decimeter is to 48 decimeter. The answer is 1 is to 3. So we divide both numbers by 16. 16 divided 16 is 1. 48 divided 16, the answer is 3. Next, 5 meters is to 300 meters. What do you think is the answer? Correct. 1 is to 60. So we divide both numbers by 5. 5 meters divided by 5 is 1. 300 divided by 5, the answer is 60. Next, how about 400 grams into 600 grams? So the lowest term of that, since they are having zeros here, which is the same with this one, we can remove that. So focus on 4 and 6. So the lowest term of 4 and 6 is 2 is to 3. Just divide both two numbers by 2. So we get 2 is to 3. How about 5 days into 1 week? Look at this unit. We have different units here. So you have to change the unit week into days so they have the same unit. So we all know that in 1 week we have 7 days. Therefore, our ratio here is 5 is to 7. And 5 is to 7 is already in a simplest form. How about this one? Can you find the ratios given the ratio of the following statements? Number 1, measure of one angle of an equilateral triangle to the sum of its interior angles. So, one angle of equilateral triangle. So when we say equilateral triangle, all sides of a triangle are equal. Since the measure of interior angle is 180 degrees, equilateral triangle is also equiangular triangle. Since sides are equal and also angles are equal, and we have here three angles, so we divide 180 into 3. So we get 60 degrees. Therefore, each angle measures 60 degrees. And let's go back to our problem. The measure of one angle. The measure of one angle here is 60 degrees. Is 2. The sum of its interior angles. The sum of interior angles is 180. Right. Get the lowest term of 60 and 180. The answer is 1 is to 3 because we divide 60 and 180 into, alright, sorry, 60. So 180 divided 60, 60 divided 60 is 1, is to 180 divided 60, the answer is 3. Next. The side of the square is 4 centimeters to its perimeter. So first, let's draw a triangle to find a square, to find the perimeter. So let's assume that it is a square with 4 centimeters each side. Since it is a square, therefore 4 sides have an equal measure. So 4 centimeters and then add these 4 sides. So we have side 1 or 4 times 4. So we have 16. 16 centimeters. So let's write 16 centimeters. And the measure of side is, we forgot to write 4 centimeters. So first we write 4 centimeters and 16 centimeters. So we have here a measure of side and a perimeter. Then get the lowest term of 14 and 4 and 16. So we divide 4 into 4 and then 16 into 4. 4 divided 4 is 1. 16 divided 4 is 4. So we get 1 is to 4. Sorry, this is divide. Because 4 and 16 are both divisible by 4. How about this one? The sum of the interior angle of a triangle to the sum of the interior angle of a quadrilateral. So in a triangle, we have 180 degrees. While in quadrilateral, we have a sum of 360 degrees. Then let's write that into ratio form. 180 is to 360 degrees. Then divide both or get the lowest term of 180 and 360. So 180 and 360, as you can see, they are both divisible by 180. So we can divide 180 by itself, then 360 by 180. So we have 1 and 2. That's why we get 1 is to 2. Just think of a number which is can be divided to both ratio or to both terms of our ratio, or that is called the GCF or greatest common factor. Look at this television. Suppose the length and the width of a flat screen television are 48 inches and 32 inches respectively. If the image for the television has a length of 12 inches, how wide should the image be? So let's write our given here. The situation forms two equivalent ratios expressed as proportion because this is the first dimension of our television. 48 is to 32, while the smaller television must be equivalent to our bigger television with the length of 12 and width is missing. So this is called proportion. Remember that the situation that forms two equivalent ratios is a proportion. So now let us solve our given. 48 is to 32 inches equals 12 is to x since width is missing. By using proportion, we will be able to solve the missing dimension of the image. But before that, take a look at this given. Since this is a fraction, we can get first the lowest term of 48 and 32 so that we can easily solve for the missing term. So get the lowest term of 48 and 32. So what is the GCF of 48 and 32? The GCF of 48 and 32 is 16. So 48 divided by 16, the answer is 3. 32 divided by 16, the answer is 2. Alright, so let's use 3 halves instead of 48 is to 32. Then let's copy 12 is to x. Then cross multiply 3x. 2 is to 12 or 2 times 12. The answer is 24 equals 3x. To solve for x, divide by the number beside x. Since we have to eliminate 3 beside x, we divide both sides by 3. So 24 divided by 3, the answer is 8. Therefore, x here is 8. Now, let's check if our answer is correct. So 48 is to 32 equals 12. Instead of x, let's write 8 because we already solved that. Then, get the lowest term of 48 and 32. Then 12 to 8, it must be the same. So, we already know the lowest term of 48 is to 32. It is 3 halves. How about the lowest term of 12 and 8? The GCF of 12 and 8 is 4. So 12 divided 4, 3. 8 divided 4, the answer is 2. So it is 3 halves. Since it is equal to each other, therefore our answer is correct. That's how you're going to solve proportion. Now, proportion and its parts. Proportion is a statement of equality between two ratios. So when we say equality, we are going to use the symbol equals because the two ratios are equal. In symbol, A over B equals C over D, or A is to B equals C is to D, where B is not equal to 0 and B is not equal to 0. Because if B and D are both 0, our ratio is equivalent to, or it is undefined. So each term in a proportion is called a term. A is the first term, B is the second term, it is C third term, D fourth term. So we have here four terms here. The second and third terms are called the means. The first and the fourth terms are called the extremes. This one. This is called the means, while this one is called the extremes. Or in the symbol, B and C or the inner term, B and C are the inner term that is called the means, and the outer term is called the extremes. Now we have here fundamental rule of a proportion. Remember, A over B is equal to C over D, or A is to B equals C is to D, where B and 0 are not B and D are not equal to 0. So we have here properties of proportion. First is the cross multiplication. All you have to do here is to multiply the means. So A times D, we get AD. The extremes, B times C, we get BC. And remember, our denominators must not be equal to 0. The alternation property. So as you can notice here, in the alternation property, we interchange B and C, so it became C and D here. So just interchange our means. So that is the alternation property. In inverse property. So in inverse property, interchange the first ratio, the denominator and the denominator. So if it is A over B, it will become B over A. C over D, it will become D over C. And denominators are not equal to 0. In addition property, we only have to add the numerator and the denominator. So we have A plus B over the denominator B. C plus D over denominator D, and both denominators are not equal to 0. Lastly, subtraction property. It is almost the same with addition property. All you have to do is to subtract the denominator and the denominator. A minus B divided by the denominator, C minus D, and divided by D. And denominators also, again, are not equal to 0. Example, find the value of x in the proportion 4 is to x is equal to 6 is to 9. So let's use first the cross multiplication property. So we have here the given 4x equals 6 is to 9. Cross multiplication, just cross multiply 4 and 9 equals x and 6. 4 times 9 is 36 equals x times 6 is 6x. And divide both sides by 6. So it is cancelled. 36 divided 6, the answer is 6. So in using the first property, which is cross multiplication, our answer is 6. Now let us try the other property if we can get the same answer. Next, let's use the alternation property. Write down the given. Alternation, all you have to do is to interchange the means. So it will become 4 is to 6 because the 6 will be written here below the 4 equals, and then x will be put here, x over 9. After that, let's cross multiply 4 and 9 equals 6 times x. 4 times 9, the answer is 36 equals 6 times x is 6x. Then let's divide both by 6. So the answer is 36 divided 6, 6. All right, we have the same answer with this one. How about the inverse property? Write down the given. So in inverse property, you have to interchange the numerator and denominator. Next, after you interchange 4 and x into x is to 4, 6 is to 9 into 9 is to 6, cross multiply. X times 6 equals 4 times 9. 4 times 9. Next, multiply 6. X times 6 is 6x. 4 times 9 is 36. Next, divide both by 6. 36 divided 6, the answer is 6. Wow, we have the same answer again. How about the addition property? So let's check if we can get the same answer. This is 4 is to x equals 6 is to 9. In addition property, you have to add the numerator plus the denominator x, and in our first ratio divided by x. Same denominator, just copy x. 6 is to 9. So we have 6 plus 9 divided by 9. Next, we cannot add 4 and x because it is different terms. Let's add 6 and 9. Let's copy 4 and x. 6 plus 9 is 15 is to 9. All right. Let's cross multiply. X times 15 is 15x equals 9 times the quantity of 4 plus x. Since it is binomial, we have to use the close and open parentheses. Just distribute 9 into 4. We have 9 times 4, 36. 9 times x is 9x plus 9x. Next, isolate the numbers with variables into one side of the equation. So let's write down here 15x, then 9x will become minus 9x is equal to 36. 15x minus 9x, so it will become 6x is equal to 36. Alright, so let's divide both by 6 to get the value of x. 36 divided 6. Wow, we get 6, which is the same to our first three solutions. Now let's move on to subtraction property. Let's write down first our given 4 is to x is equal to 6 is to 9. In subtraction property, just subtract Then divide by x equals 6 minus 9 divided by 9. Next, we cannot subtract 4 and x, but we can subtract 6 and 9. So let's copy 4 minus x divided by x equals negative 3 over 9. Next, multiply 9 and 4 minus x equals x times negative 3. Next, 9 times 4 is 36. Then 9 times x is 9x equals x times negative 3 is negative 3x. Next, isolate the variable into one side of the equation. So let's isolate 9x to the other side. So negative 3x. Using the addition property, it will become plus 9x. And we have 36. Negative 3x plus 9x is equivalent to 6x. Then copy 36. Then divide both by 6. X 36 divided 6, the answer is 6. Alright, so as you can notice, we get the same answers using the 5 properties of proportion. First, we have cross multiplication, alternation, inverse addition, and subtraction property. Now, let's test if you learned something about the properties of proportion. In matching type, find the value of x in the proportion. You're going to match your answer in column B. These are given, and these are the choices. Number one, what do you think is the answer? You can use scratch paper if necessary. Number one, the answer is 4. Number two, x is to 3 equals 18 is to 2. Alright, the answer is 27. 16 is to x, 4 is to 8, so it is B, a B, 32. How about in number 4? The answer is letter E, or 10. In number 5, do you have any idea? Is it C or F? Alright, the answer is C. Alright, so we can easily identify if our answers are correct in this given. Now let us solve number 5 because it is a little bit confusing here because we have here two missing variables. Alright, so let's solve in this part. 12 is to x is equal to x is to 3. Just do the usual that we're using in solving proportions. Just cross. So we have x times x is equal to 12 times 3. X times x is x squared. 12 times 3, the answer is 36. So we have to eliminate the square here with the opposite of x squared, and that is square root. So we have x square root of 36, that is positive and negative 6. That's why we get positive and negative 6 here. And that is letter C for number 5. For enrichment or deepen, using the fundamental rule and the properties of proportion, determine what is asked in the following situations. Number 1. The measure of three angles of a triangle in the ratio of 1 is to 2 is to 3. Find their measures. First, what is the total measure of the interior angle of a triangle? Alright, that is 180 degrees with a ratio of 1 is to 2 is to 3. Meaning that if we're going to add these three angles, we need to get 180 degrees, but we don't know the factor. So let's assume that that missing factor is x. So we let x for the missing factor. So let's write 1x plus 2x plus 3x is equal to 180. So 1x here, it can be written by x plus 2x plus 3x is equal to 180 degrees. All right, we need to add these three angles to compute the missing factor so that we can solve the three angles. So just add x plus 2x plus 3x, that is 6x is equal to 180. Next, solve for x. Divide both sides by 6, so we get 30. Therefore, our x is 30. Now, let us solve the three angles with a ratio of 1 is to 2 is uh 1 is to 2 is to 3. So the first angle is x. So x is the value is 30. Therefore, the first angle is 30 degrees. The second measure of angle is 2x with a ratio of 2. So just multiply 2 by 30. 2 times 30, the answer is 60 degrees. Next, the third angle is 3x with a ratio of 3. Just multiply 3 and 30. So we get 90 degrees. Alright, so let's check if our answers are correct. Let's add 30 plus 60 plus 90 degrees. It must be equal to 180 degrees. So 30 plus 60 is 90 plus 90. It is equivalent to 180 degrees. Then it is equal to 180 degrees. Therefore, our answers are correct, which is 30, 60, and 90. Let's move on to the second problem. Two complementary angles are in the ratio of 2 is to 3. Find the measure of each angle. When we say complementary, the sum of the two angles is equivalent to 90 degrees. Now we are looking for the two numbers or the two angles with a ratio of 2 is to 3 using complementary angle. So let's assume that the first angle is 2x and the second angle is 3x. Using this ratio 2 is to 3 and their sum must be 90 degrees. 2x plus 3x is 5x is equal to 90. Then divide both sides by 5 to solve for x. So x, the answer is 90 divided by 5, 18. So the missing factor here is 18. Now let's solve for the first angle, 2x, or with a ratio of 2. So 2 times 18, that is 36. How about the second ratio, which is 3? So we have 3x. 3 times 18, the answer is 54. So the measure of each angle is 36 and 54. Now let's check if our answer is correct. Let's add 36 degrees and 54 degrees. The total must be 90 degrees. So 36 plus 54 degrees, the answer is 90 degrees. All right, our answers are correct. How about the last problem? The angle of a triangle are in the ratio of 2 is to 3 is to 5. Find the measure of the smallest angle. So we have to use this ratio to find the missing angle or the measure of the smallest angle. So we are going to solve for the missing factor and we're going to add these three angles and the total must be 180 degrees. So just add the three angles. The total is 10x is equal to 180 degrees. Then divide both by 10. So the missing factor is 18. All right. Since we are only looking for the smallest angle, we're going to solve only for 2x. So we have 2x is equal to 2 times the value of x. So 2 times 18, the answer is 36 degrees. Therefore, the smallest angle of a triangle is 36 degrees. That's it. Thank you for listening. I hope that you learned from my class.